to kind of kick things off, we do have a couple special guests today. I will be introducing Tyler, head of growth at SafePal, and he's going to be kicking off our first discussion question with us. How's it going, Tyler?
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
What's up? Yeah, we can hear you, mate.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to start off with, I would love to begin by saying happy birthday to BSC News. Right? Glad to have you guys within the BSC ecosystem sharing the latest updates with the community. And we at SafePal truly appreciate all the updates that you guys provide, right? And I don't know how you guys do it, but the space moves so fast, and I just want to say keep up the great work.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tyler.
And I guess I can just start off with a bit of introduction about, myself and as well as SafePal.
Definitely.
So I'm a member of the SafePal team, and like I mentioned earlier, it's a pleasure to be celebrating the first year anniversary or birthday with BSC News, right? To share a quick intro about SafePal. Now, we are a cryptocurrency wallet founded in 2018 that aims to provide a secure and user-friendly crypto management platform for the masses. Being the first hardware wallet portfolio of Binance, SafePal is now serving more than 4 million users across the globe. I think last time I was on the podcast with you guys, we were at 2 million. So within just a little bit, a quarter, or last time it was with the Moonpot, WHO, right? And so now we're sitting at 4 million, and SafePal provides a hardware wallet and software wallet product line, all paired and managed through the SafePal app, where users can easily store, manage, swap, trade, and grow their crypto wealth.
Awesome. And before we get too far here, I know we actually have a partnership with SafePal, and we're running a giveaway during this event. We actually have partnered and made a custom BSC News X SafePal hardware wallet. So that's definitely something to look out for. And we have been giving a few of those away to some of our community members. So definitely watch out for that and be sure to enter that giveaway.
Yeah, really excited about that, and I think there's we're working towards some kind of special surprise in it as well, right? For the individuals that end up winning one of these.
Definitely.
And so today I've been given the honor to start off with the discussion about the future of DeFi, as well as BSC and a secure multi-chain future.
Awesome. Ben or Cami, do any of you guys want to take a stab at kind of what your vision is of going forward from here?
I'd take the seat.
Sure, Cami, I'll go first. So from a high level, I am a proponent of CeFi meets DeFi. The reason I say that is if DeFi is going to scale, let's say like mass adoption, right? I think that's hard pressed in a self-custody only world, right? I just don't see your everyday user wanting to get a hardware wallet. And of course, this is a funny conversation to have with SafePal asking it. But in order to custody it, use MetaMask, learn the ins and outs, right? Change your RPCs when the network's not working, increase gas fees. I think that is in a sense restrictive to probably the majority of people. And so that idea where CeFi meets DeFi is more of like an institutional custody, institutional custody, but for retail people. So the front end UI, Binance acting as the custody holder, utilizing DeFi in the background. And then in terms of like to address the cross-chain part, I imagine a future, assuming we get there, where your bank is the custody holder with, it doesn't matter what, you won't even know what chain you're on. It doesn't matter what chain you're on. The bank or Binance or whoever is going to search for the best protocols for their clientele, right? Because that'll be their business model. And so that's I don't know, maybe that's like 10 years out, right? It's going to move slow. It's going to require a lot of regulation. I'm not sure how you handle current banking laws in terms of like reserve requirements and stuff when you're talking about DeFi. Can a bank hold 100 million in deposits and actually take a bunch of it and put it into a lending protocol, right? Is that a future reserve concept? So I guess to sum it up, that's where I'm at. It's the crossover of CeFi and DeFi. I think is crucial, and I think that's going to be where this all goes.
That's actually really interesting, Ben. I know you are a big fan of the CeFi DeFi intersection.
Mm-hmm.
I myself, I agree in the sense where where it's important that onboarding the user, right? I think that's what it comes down to right now. It is a little bit difficult having users do all these things, move chain between chain. There's a lot of friction doing these things. It's not the easiest to use a bridge. So I don't necessarily know if all DeFi is CeFi. I definitely see the aspects of it where it's successful, but I think my main thing gets back to this sort of fundamental topic that you're talking about. The user doesn't know what chain they are on. The user is just using the products that make the most sense for them, whether that's a lending and borrowing on Avalanche, a DEX on BSC, GameFi on Solana, whatever the case may be. I think it just comes down to the user being able to frictionlessly get between these chains. And we're already seeing right now, it's not so much a battle of, okay, what chain is the best and will handle every single user. It's more so, how are all these chains going to be able to scale to accommodate mass adoption, and which chains are going to specialize in what certain things. We're already seeing things where the demand for decentralized finance is massive. We're having all of these other layer one networks pop up, and yet we're still seeing things like network congestion. Although it's gotten better, I think in the future, we really want something set up where interoperability is seamless. There's no friction, even just bridging across chains. There's slippage to do so. So all of these little things make it more difficult for the user. And I think it even just comes down to more intuitive UIs, right? It's already gotten much better with things like tokens apps, but having to jump in, swap on PancakeSwap, LP a token, then deposit it into a yield farm. There's a lot of steps for a user. So I think as DeFi sort of continues to innovate, we see a lot of this stuff end up under the hood. And yeah, just to wrap it up, I do think there are certain aspects where CeFi definitely rocks, and it is some sort of needed. I think it's very naive to get 100% away from decentralization, but I think that is the ultimate goal, albeit it's going to take a lot of time to get all the way there. So I think between all of those things, the thing I'm most excited to see is frictionless transactions between chains, and then just more education in the space, which is something we definitely try to focus on.
Yeah, just to add to that, or what it sounds like to me is you're kind of talking about a protocol being the front end of a multi-chain project, right? So if I want to just lend Bitcoin to earn some interest, the protocol could potentially bridge it anywhere, get the best yield for me, without me even knowing it, in a UI that is simple, right? I think that's going to be the key. So it's like cross-chain plus simplicity is kind of what's needed.
Definitely. I'm curious, Cami, how has like your bridging experience been? I know, like, I feel like you're definitely the right person to ask friction wise. Like, there's so much going on Binance Smart Chain, and is it really worthwhile to jump through the hoops to bridge for someone like you?
So I think the bridging aspect is pretty long and pretty hard, especially trying to find a protocol that allows you to bridge on certain chains. Like, one, the Binance bridge is closing down, and then there's a limit of how much you can actually bridge over. And then when you're trying to find another protocol, like, do you trust it? Can you trust it? And I think that's where the people don't want to use these kind of protocols, because they don't know if my funds are going to end up on the other side. And I think that's why we don't have mass adoption. That's a big thing. And I think, like, I know I'm just pivoting across here, but like, I really echo what Ben says in terms of like CeFi meets DeFi. Just a few things, and what I see in DeFi. Yes, for us, like, we're very much more experienced within the DeFi sector, so we understand how things work, and such as these wallets. And if we were to go to another chain that doesn't support MetaMask, like, we'll go and get Phantom and download it. And because we have the experience and the knowledge, it's kind of easy for us, even though it is complex. But we just have that that little bit of knowledge from using a different chain. And I think people coming in, it's very like a scary approach, especially trying to deposit their money and moving that out from a centralized exchange when you get all these warning messages coming up and saying, "Are you sure? Are you using the you're going to withdraw to the right chain?" And then I feel like the protocols that we do have, they're great, but it's very spread across, like really wide. And what I mean by that is I want to, use a vault or yield farm or swap a token, or I want to bridge something. I have to go to 5 different sites to do that. And I think that's an issue where like there needs to be a project, or there probably is out there, and I've probably not noticed it, but that has everything under one hood, um, and then just user friendly. And I think that's where the problem is, and that's a big reason. And I don't think we'll ever get mass adoption until things become, like I open my mobile banking app, my money's in there. I want to transfer it over. I'll get someone's. I know I'm in the UK, so it's a bit different for everywhere else, but like their account number and sort code, and I can just send money. Whereas everything now is like, how do I verify this is I'm sending it to the right person? Am I doing it right? Like, I know I can't get this back. Who do I call? I can't call customer service. Um, and I think that's a problem as well. Like, just go pivoting across to customer service. Everyone's anonymous. Is there customer support within a lot of these projects? It's probably not. Yes, we have a community, but are people individuals that are, if it's not a large sum of money, are they noticed? Are they acknowledged? And I think that again, a lot of crypto is, majority of crypto is probably people with not a lot of money. So if something goes wrong and they lose their money, like that's like, how do they ever get it back? They don't. And especially they're not noticed as well, and I think they are really overlooked. So if you go to Binance, like a centralized exchange, everyone's dealt with in the same manner. You have support 24/7. So just things like that, I think that we need to move across and adopt in this DeFi space for adoption.
Awesome. Yeah. And just to loop you back in here, Tyler, I know we've just been talking. I'm curious, like over at SafePal, I know you guys are recognizing some of these things. What is like SafePal looking to do just on your guys' end to reduce some of this friction inside of DeFi, especially being a wallet provider? It seems like you guys are in a decent position to think about these things and try to innovate a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you guys touched upon some of the items that I guess I wanted to talk about. And with regards to some of the issues that you guys brought up, I think those are real concerns and legitimate concerns that, individuals that walk into this space encounter, because we see it on a frequent basis. So here at SafePal, one of the biggest things that we focus on is actually onboarding and as well as user adoption, right? Not just for us, but for the projects that work with us. Right, we generally speak to the partners, and the partners would tell us, well, I'm a BSC token, and in order for me to onboard a new user, I need to get the users already involved in crypto. They already have to have, understand what gas fees are and how that works, right? So I think one of the things that people need to or be more aware of is that if we're to compare, let's say, a CeFi solutions versus a DeFi solution, is that primarily, if you come from a developed part of the world or a developed country in the world, a lot of your financial infrastructures are really sound, right? Like you don't expect your bank to walk out on you tomorrow, right? So this is why there's a huge comfort of trust towards the existing financial models that exist in developed countries. But let's say you're from a developing part of the world, right? Or countries that are developing, right? They may not have such a sound financial, structure. So to them, DeFi is something that is crazy sound, like it's smart contract, just like the way it was designed to be, right? Trustless. We don't need intermediaries. So this is why I believe the future of DeFi is going to keep evolving through participants on that end, more so than participants who are already in established markets, because I strongly feel they're going to innovate a lot faster, because they're going to be encountering a lot more of the pain points that we may not see, right? Or we may have comfort towards as members of developed countries see it as, well, why do I use that when my current banks can do this, right? And then if we think about, the whole improving the process on, let's say, swapping cross multi-chain, this is something that we've been focused on for the past, I would say, close to 48 months or so, but we've gotten really good at it in the last year. So essentially, we developed a feature about last year called SafePal Swap. And we can essentially swap across, I believe, many of the different chains like Ethereum, Tron, BSC, Solana. We've just added 9 different blockchain networks where we can just swap assets across those. So if you're trying to move, let's say, Dogecoin, and Doge exists on its own network, right? And then you're trying to move it, let's say, onto be it BNB, or if you're trying to switch to Ethereum, we can do that. And right now we're even starting to explore layer 2 networks, right? So that users can move assets from one network to another network as seamlessly as possible, right? And if, let's say, the early days of BSC, we were one of the largest contributors for swapping assets from Ethereum to BSC. And we along with PancakeSwap at the time, we were helping promote a lot of the projects to move liquidity from one network to another, right? And of course, the whole premise here is to alleviate that pain point that users have when they have their assets currently on one network, and for them to move it to another, they have to jump across different dApps, explore different services, and get bottlenecked that way. And also partially why we saw a huge amount of transactional volume from users using our service, and they still do today as we continue to explore new options. So that's why I think it goes back to just user education, right? Creating a UI, creating toolkits that definitely help seamlessly and try to mitigate a lot of the knowledge gaps, a lot of the user mistakes that may be encountered, right? We've seen a ton of users send tokens to like token contract address. And once those tokens are sent to like the contract address, there's nothing we can do for them, right? And I totally see at this point, it's definitely user education. And I also separate users across 2 different categories, right? When you try to profile what a user would look like, you guys, at least I would think of it as a brand new individual that is just jumping into crypto. So for them, DeFi represents to them more of the stable coin realm, right? So for them, there's a lot more comfort for them to look into protocols and staking their assets in stable coin. Whereas let's say someone who is more savvy would then look at, other things like, I'm just going to throw something out there that I've been more intrigued in with, which is rebase models, right? If we look at things like OHM and what goes on with some of the other stuff happening, right? There's like these rebase models that are giving thousands of % APY, right? And this is just the 2 different spectrums of users that you'll come across, right? Some are really in deep and some are just brand new and are still focused on just learning the real basics. And for them, we would try to cater them towards stablecoin solutions, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that's something here at BSC News, just to kind of wrap all the way around, that we're focused on. And that's getting the users this information and kind of bridging that gap between the content protocols are putting out and just normal content. And I think this sort of just segues into the idea that we are catering to people who are just touching these networks for the first time. We have guides on how to use some basic centralized exchange, getting your crypto off-ramped into decentralized ecosystems, how to keep your keys and wallets safe, things even like how to bridge between networks and interact between protocols. And I think all of these things are the first steps to reduce this friction. And as everyone is building around us, we are focused on providing the information and education that these users need, whether experienced or beginner. And I think that is where on our end, we're trying to really bridge that gap as well. And we've realized that the multi-chain future is very expansive, and we've pivoted into DeFi Direct, looking to expand to chains like Avalanche, Solana, Ethereum as well, sort of broadening this education outside of the realm of BSC and bringing it across everywhere, considering the success we've had over the past year. I'm not sure if anyone has anything else to add there, any future wishes for the multi-chain future. Also, I don't know, Cami, I didn't want to reveal it earlier on, but we do have a cool partnership going on with SafePal. Do we want to elaborate on that a little bit? I know Tyler was hinting at it.
I'll let Tyler spill it out because he knows it more than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can preview it a little bit for you guys. And it's a new feature. Like I mentioned earlier, we kind of spend a lot of our time developing use cases, right? And we have one of the more active communities that are really into engaging and trying out new things along with us, because it's definitely a learning experience, right? And we take a lot of the feedback that we collect from our community helps us develop a better solution. So we look at the pain points that they suffer from, and we look to optimize that. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier is that a lot of brand new projects or users that are just jumping in have no idea about many of the basics, right? Or if you are already an advanced user and you're trying to bring in your friend, but the moment you have to sit down with your friend and explain a whole dictionary worth of information to them, they're not going to be that interested, right? Or if you just tell them do this X, Y, Z, and there's like 10 step and they mess up on step number 3 and lose all their money, they're not going to try anymore, right? So we look towards adoption tools, right? Onboarding tools. And one of the things we looked at was developing gift box. And essentially, this is where projects, or specifically the users, can simply create a wallet and start redeeming things, right? Whatever the projects want to give away or drop to their users to try out, or in this essence, maybe even things like starter packs. So we've worked together with BSC News to drop a cool giveaway. And I think our aim here was for the holidays, right? Anyone that gets a hold of this custom hardware wallet would get a unique piece of gift. And so far, we've worked towards giving the gift as an NFT.
Yeah, and that'll be coming in the near future. I know we're just working on some final steps there, and we'll be able to roll that out. Other than that, I think the consensus here is that there is a decent amount of building that needs to be done, but we're moving in the right direction, and we can see players in the space are also recognizing the same thing. I'm not sure if you have anything else to add on there, but I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us about the future of DeFi, crypto, and multi-chain, Tyler.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. And once again, I'd like to wish you guys happy birthday and all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tyler.